So we're looking today at just the basic areas. Now, these areas do not count in this assessment. So why are we learning them, you'd say? Well, because you need to know them in case they are put together. So if they are put together, it's called a composite area. So we might have a diagram of perhaps like a house with a square and a triangle on the top. All right? That then makes it at the right level. But the triangle and the square separately are not. Okay? So we do need to know them, but individually they won't count. So our most basic shape that we all learned when we were tiny is a square. We know it's a square because they'll put a right angle or something like that, or they'll tell you it's a square. Okay? All sides equal, all sides measure the same. When we are doing our formulas, we always use base as our base measurement. So for a square, I'm going to call this B. All right? Not length, not width, but base. Now, that base is the same on all of the sides. So to find the area, what do we do? When we're finding area, what are we measuring? What are we measuring when we find the area of something? Nobody knows? Okay, the two-dimensional space. Oops, not shape, space. That something takes up. The flat space something takes up. Now, it's two-dimensional, so there will more than likely be two measurements you are using. One measurement is one dimension, which we call the base, and the other dimension is the height. So most things will have a B and an H in them. In the case of a square, the height is the same as the base. So therefore, we only have B. So the area of a square is equal to base times base, or base squared. All right? So if we have been told that this measurement is 6 centimetres, then we would write A for area. Happy with A for area? It's just acknowledging that that's what it is. So B times B, or B squared, 6 times 6, 36 centimetres. Now, it's not centimetres, because centimetres measure length. What measures area? Go again? Square metres and square centimetres. So we have to have that squared. And in this assessment, the units do count negatively. All right, so they don't count a positive towards you getting something, but you cannot get something if you haven't got the right units, because you're not understanding what you're actually calculating. So it's pretty easy. Next shape that you met, you may have put many names when you were little, unless your mother was a maths teacher, and then you actually called it the right name when you were little, is a rectangle. All right? And a rectangle, again, will have either the measurements on it, so that indicates that the two end ones are the same, top and the bottom are the same, and that there are right angles. This time we do have a base and a height. The height doesn't have to be bigger than the base. All right, we just use the bottom measurement. If it's lopsy, so if they've turned it on its side and there's not something flat along the bottom, we just designate that one's the base and one's the height, all right? So whatever we do. Therefore, I'm going to say that that's 8 metres and this is 3 metres, all right? We're making a path or a swimming pool or a something or other. That's, or a field, I don't know, it's quite big. And away we go. Base times height equals 8 times 3. It doesn't matter really which way around you do it because it equals the same amount metres squared. Okay, so far so good. Right back to still probably year, I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe even. Okay, then we met triangles. And depending on who you had as a teacher or when you learnt it, all right, You may have had it explained to you. You know what the formula for a triangle is. It is area of a triangle equals, yep, half, you could even look at your sheet, half base times height. And that's because we can wrap a rectangle around any triangle, no matter what it looks like. All right, I can say, all right, this is going to be the base. Then I can go up here. This is the height. That triangle will be a half of the area of that rectangle. And the height of that rectangle will always be at a right angle. So the two dimensions we use, the base and the height, always need to be at a right angle. If they're not, if I was given this side here, I'd ignore it. Like yesterday with perimeter, you were ignoring the one in the middle. This time I would ignore that one because I only want the two lengths that are perpendicular. So I might have, this one is 3 meters, this one is 10 meters, might be finding the area of the end of A block, roof line or something or other, who knows. And then I would just write it beautifully with my working. A equals a half times 3 times 10. I don't need a calculator to do this because I'm just going to halve 10 to 5. 5 times 3 is 15 meters squared. Yes, you are allowed to have a calculator. All right, so my formula, my substitution, and my answer, and my units. All right? Okay, that's what we're going to do today.